I'm making all these decisions for myself finally. Like I'm picking a different school for myself and I'm picking a different major for myself. And like I'm focusing on what my goal is rather than what I think other people want me to do.
What's up, and welcome to the Powerful One podcast, episode 20 with Adam Giard. Guys, amazing episode in store for you today. Adam is an amazing guy. He's a remarkable young person. He's doing such great things. He's one of my best friends, and one of the reasons that we clicked so much from the beginning is because we had similar mindset, similar interests, and he's someone who has really just gone out of his way to separate himself and find what he enjoys in life and find his passion. So Adam's living down in Greenville, South Carolina. He goes to Auburn University. He is studying business and marketing, and he is a personal trainer. He just got his personal training certification. So we talk about everything from being able to create your own path and kind of break free from other people's expectations for you and be able to find yourself and find what you enjoy along the process. We talk about some of the major injuries that he had. You know, he had 2 back-to-back ACL injuries, which is brutal. So we talk about his mindset from that and what he learned and how that actually turned out to be one of the best things for him. Then we talk about his passion for fitness, how he found fitness through his injuries, through some adversity, how he found that was an outlet that he loved and he wanted to pursue. And we talk about him pursuing that, where he's going with his journey through fitness. And it's just a really good episode, really good insight into his life, his journey, and so much more. So enjoy it, guys. Here it is, episode 20 with Adam Giard. We are live. Adam Giard, what's up?
Is up? It's about time, bro. I'm kidding.
No, it's all good. Adam's one of my best friends, so it is about time. So
Dang, dude.
yeah, bro,
Best
how's
friend.
quarantine
Dang.
down there in South Carolina?
Quarantine's been pretty chill compared to Maryland. Not gonna lie to you guys. I've been hearing about the news. Maryland hasn't gotten it easy, really, but we got quarantined for maybe self-isolation for 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
But post that, I mean, we've been able to go to our parks and everything during that time, so it really hasn't been that bad, but it's nothing serious. Quarantine's just mostly mustaches and just relaxing, really.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so you just finished up your personal training certification, so that's hype, man. That's exciting.
Yeah, so me and Tommy are now family members from the association we got our certifications through, so that's super exciting. I don't know, I can get things going.
Exactly, man. So yeah, we'll backtrack and then we'll get into that. So let's start with, I guess we met when I kind of moved to the area. We were actually neighbors, and then we started kind of working out together and stuff, and then we had a lot of the same interests, a lot of the same goals. But talk about, I guess, finding obviously, and like I mentioned in the intro, now you're a certified personal trainer. You're really interested in fitness, health, and just helping people, stuff like that. So talk to me a little bit through that journey and how because you've had a lot of different majors. I know you've kind of bounced around a lot from what you wanted to do. And I feel like now you're finally focused and enjoy what you're doing and what you're going to be doing. So talk about that process of figuring that out a little bit,
Yeah, totally. So pretty much, I didn't like lifting or any kind of fitness for most of high school because I was that skinny kid that I don't know. I just was I always had horrible numbers and tryouts for all sports. And I was just why would I focus on this? I suck at it. I shouldn't do it. But after I tore my ACL my senior year, and I was okay, I think when you hit a point of not having control of your body or having control of a situation like that, you want to be able to control at least one aspect of it. So in that process, I found a way to control, I guess, my body in the sense of working out and how I look and how I feel. So that's really when I took my first jump and was because probably the first half of us knowing each other, you saw me at the gym with the knee brace.
Right.
Right. I had my knee brace on and I'd be at the gym every single day because that was the one thing I could do. It was a hobby and I was staying healthy and I felt good. And then so pretty much I got bit by the bug there and I was just I love this. I love this so much. But I never saw it as a career because it was almost you're told, nah, that's not smart. Go pursue IT, go pursue engineering, go pursue computer science. So my first major when I committed, I decided to go to Liberty really early on. I decided in December of my senior year. So I think my first major was game design, video game design. I want to do coding for video games because I was I love games and I was okay, this will be perfect. I was I can design games, use my creativity, but I soon realized that I'm really bad at coding. So I was like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't for me. So then I switched after I tore my ACL again
Yeah.
in that summer. And I was like, I went to more PT and I was like, wow, I'm like really enjoying this. So then I switched to exercise science and then I switched to kinesiology. So are kind of hand in hand, but I wanted kinesiology. I could be like a physician assistant, I think. So like that was a more practical route. And from there, I was like, okay. And then I switched again to business administration, focus in information systems, which is like a business degree with the focus in technology. So I was jumping around a lot. I think I was having a pretty big internal battle, just like what makes sense and what I want to do. And I know like the whole Powerful One brand, I remember like when you first came out with it kind of hit me because I was like, dang, dude, like I totally get this because it's like this is what I felt like I was going through my whole freshman year. So I don't know, like pretty much after all that time of like realizing that my major is one thing, but in reality, the goal I'm pursuing with my life, which was like making myself healthier, and then indirectly without even knowing it, I was like bringing my friends to the gym. Like I love like getting them included. I was like, why would I just not do this? I'm putting all my energy in it all like on the side. Why wouldn't I just make this a full-time thing?
Right.
So right now I'm a marketing major, which sounds like, oh, you're not pursuing it, but I chose to do marketing because it's an easier way for me to market myself.
Right.
And for personal training certificates, I'm just going to continue to get those through other like side organizations, keep that on track. And then with a business degree, hopefully be able to elevate my business later in life.
Yeah, I think it's smart, especially if you want to pursue like your own kind of journey with personal training to do, to kind of focus on something else. And it was cool that you realized that you didn't need necessarily that like for that degree to be able to get your certification. There was other ones you could get, and then you can kind of get the ball rolling, get more as you go, and still focus on something else to kind of help you and like help your future business and stuff like that. So, so as far as that realization, like just to take you back a little bit of kind of what made sense and what you wanted to do, like when was that real click where even though like your maybe your major was still changing, but when was like that real click where you're like, it doesn't matter what's practical, it matters like what I want to do, as far as like at least pursuing the training without school and stuff like, does that make sense?
No, yeah, totally. I think a big moment was, so I went to Liberty my freshman year and then I decided to transfer after I went home for winter break. And I think it kind of hit me then because I realized the big reason I went to Liberty was the perspective I wanted people to see from me. It was more of a exterior choice rather than an internal choice, which sounds weird, but it's like I kind of wanted to be known as like the structured Christian kid that was like going to a school to pursue like a more mature thing other than partying, but like going and like getting his spiritual life figured out. But it was like once I got there, I realized like I wasn't making a decision for myself. And when I came home for winter break, I was like, why am I forcing myself into structure when I already know how to apply that to my life?
Yeah.
So when I decided to transfer originally to Clemson, I was going to go into health science. And that was kind of when I made a big switch because I was like, I'm making all these decisions for myself finally. Like I'm picking a different school for myself and I'm picking a different major for myself. And like, I'm focusing on what my goal is rather than what I think other people want me to do.
That's a huge level of like self-awareness and maturity, I think, that a lot of people don't get maybe this early on, is to like have that realization that like you got to choose it for yourself. Like you got to choose, what you enjoy and what you want to do for the right reasons, or else it's just not going to be enjoyable or fulfilling. And so I think that's something to your credit that's very hard, and a lot of people don't really get that as early on. A lot of people are living in maybe what their parents want for them shadow, or their friends' expectations of them shadow. And so I think to be able to break out of that is part of the whole Powerful One kind of like idea. And I think that's sweet that you were able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, oh, go ahead.
No. I was
just going to say it was definitely really nice to have like the summer after I decided to not go back, summer back in Maryland for like the last summer there, but like hanging out with you. And I think Powerful One got rolling that fall kind of. Right. Which was like, couldn't have been more perfect timing for me. Cause I think that was like this past fall was probably like one of the hardest, like I've just like being alone and figuring things out in a new area. And it was just like, I missed all my friends, but your like product coming out in that time was like, okay, wow. Like I'm not the only person that's like chasing this idea of like, I want to do what I want to do. and I'm going to find a way to make it work, rather than being like, I'm going to settle for what makes sense and what's going to, I guess, it's easier. Like, it would be easier. It's the easier path, I guess you could say, like getting a marketing job at like a large company and being like, okay, cool. Am I really passionate about this? Kind of.
Right.
But I don't know, when you like put that out, because I always love talking, because you're a person who decided to go against the grain in a way. You were like, okay, let's tackle this differently. Like, these other ways aren't working for me. Cool, let's find a way. And you did. So it's like one of those things where like having a buddy like you, where you're like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like, do your thing constantly, like, and having other people motivating me. It was just like such a good, I guess I would say, foundation to have from that summer to that fall to like really keep me going. So
yeah, man, and I do feel like kind of Powerful One and you and my, like what I wanted to do kind of like grew in tandem, like kind of grew together, because like I was kind of finding the identity with my brand and myself, and you were kind of doing the same thing, and we were just kind of like finding our way together, knowing that we had similar paths and similar interests. And it's cool to see where we're at now, and only, you know, knowing that it's the very, very beginning is super cool too. But another aspect that's really cool, just, you know, talking about like your level of just self-awareness and doing things for yourself. I want you to talk about real quick the decision to go to Auburn versus Clemson. So to kind of follow in like your family's, your brother, your, you know, your dad's footsteps, or kind of create your own path. And I feel like that's not an easy thing to be able to do. And so talk me a little bit through that decision, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, totally. So when I originally decided where I was going to transfer, I applied to Clemson, and then there was like a instinct moment where I was like, maybe I should apply somewhere else. And this was right after my spring semester at Liberty. So I applied to University of South Carolina. I was like, I'm going to go in-state. I'm going to just, because we're moving to South Carolina regardless, like I might as well go in-state. So I picked one of those schools. I didn't get into either. I was 1 credit hour short of getting into Clemson directly in the fall, but I think that was kind of like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Because as I moved here and I spent a semester here, I really just didn't enjoy the area. And like, I would go to social gatherings, but like, I mean, I'm gonna hype up my brother a little bit here, but my brother is very, very well known on Clemson's campus. Like, he's made a huge impact. He does a lot through the community, and like, people know him, and I look like him to an extent. And I've gone to like a couple social events, and I literally had gotten pulled over downtown, and people have been like, "Oh, how's the company going? Oh, how's this? How's that?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that's not me. Like, that's my brother. You just don't know." So, I don't know, doing that a lot and just like realizing that this might be an area where I'm constantly living in a shadow was kind of just not what I wanted at all. Yeah. Like, I really just did not want that. I'm kind of want to do my own thing, follow my own path, out there, different kid, I guess, you know, middle kid syndrome, no biggie. It's not a big deal. But no, really, I was just like, I don't know. And I was just struggling like the whole fall, just like sad, thinking about having to go to Clemson. I don't know what it was, but I really just made a bold decision. I just applied to Auburn on my own because I visited a couple times, and it was just, I just loved the school. Yeah. So I applied to it, and I told my parents one day, and I was like getting super emotional about it. I was like choking up, and I was like, I don't know why I'm about to cry, but I just feel like this is really important to me. Yeah. So like, I don't know. It was just something I knew I needed to do because I just didn't think I'd be able to take my own separate path. I think I would get forced into a lot of the same things my brother did, which isn't bad. What he did is amazing, but it's not what I want to do. Exactly. So I think it was cool for me to get my own space, to make my own group, and to pave my own path pretty much at a different school. And I just found Auburn and just like done. And I got 6 weeks there because of coronavirus, but it was so much fun. I loved it. So I'm excited for this fall. So
yeah, man,
that's kind of the process of that.
Yeah, bro, that's like a very hard decision, especially because your dad went to Clemson as well, right?
Yeah, my dad's an alum. So, and it was also like, I have like 6 cousins that graduated, something crazy like that, and 2 more that are still there. So it's like, it's the family school, like, to say the least.
Yeah, man, that's no, I definitely respect that decision a lot. Like making that decision for yourself. And I'm sure that maybe even if people don't understand now, maybe like legacy things, and I'm sure they do, but they will eventually, because like, that's one thing that I think people ultimately at some point will realize, is that like, you have to make decisions for yourself. Like, you have to. Totally. So I'm curious about because you had 2 back-to-back ACL injuries, which is like, man, like anybody who's had an ACL injury, it's like it's like a defining moment because it's just like it's a heartbreak. Like you're out for so long. You got to go through the rehab process. You know, you in theory like lose all these gains, right? And like, so how was like the mental aspect of that? I mean, especially because it was like during that time you were just starting to get into it, you know, fitness really and enjoying it. So how was that, especially like twice on the same knee, right? And it was just healed, correct?
Yeah, so it was a pretty unfortunate event, but so I tore it in December 2017, and then I got the surgery in February, and I recovered 5 months and was on a mission trip, and then I had it retorn on July, like late June I think, and then I got it repaired mid-July. So pretty much I had gone through 5 months of recovery, and I just started running again. Like I was really feeling like myself. I was able to do other workouts and then just had it all taken away like that. And if anybody else has had like an ACL tear, it's like you hear a pop, it's your ACL pretty much snapping pretty much, and you hear a pop and it like vibrates up your whole body. It's like a really awesome feeling. No, it's horrible. Like you know exactly what happened as soon as it happened. So it was funny because I tore my ACL and then my sister tore her ACL and then I re-tore my ACL. So it was like we had a lot of knee injuries in like a short span of time. But yeah, the first ACL tear was honestly really, really hard. It was the first time I'd been actually injured, and I felt like so much was being taken away from me. I was like, this is so unfair. Like I was missing my final track season. I was in a school musical called Rock and Roll, and I loved it. I was a dancer in it. It was like one of the most fun things I've ever done. And I got that taken away from me, so I couldn't do that. And I was like, this is so unfair. Like, what the heck? Like, why is this happening to me in my senior year of high school? High school is the best day ever. But it's like, in reality, like in retrospect, it taught me like almost independence. Because I think for such a long time, I was so reliant on like other people that I had never just like felt like pain and been like, okay, like this is how it is right now. Like you're sad and that's okay. And I think through there, like my therapy really became going back to the gym, because I remember I had been lifting and my buddy Waleed came over and was like, yo, dude, what happened to your neck? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, your neck, it's just like, it's so long now. Cause like pretty much my shoulders had like shrank down.
Oh yeah.
From like atrophy of just like over time not going to the gym. So like that kind of like, he always makes jokes about it now, but like he doesn't understand, like that was a good thing for me. Like that was motivation in the spot of like, okay, cool. Like people are noticing something and I don't want to feel like I'm weak and incapable.
Right.
I don't feel like, I don't even know if I'm on topic right now, but like, am I still on track?
No, you're still on track pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. But so when you like get injured, you are pretty much being served constantly. Like you feel like you're getting handouts all the time. People will hold the door for you, crutches, which sounds so stupid, but like you don't want that. You're just like, please just let me do my own thing. Like I can do it. I'm fine. And then you try to open the door and drop your crutch and it's like a whole scene. But the idea of like conquering something on my own, I wanted that satisfaction so badly.
Right. So
I think I turned that energy towards the gym. And like me and my friend Grady would go to the gym every single day. And I was skipping leg day, yes, because I couldn't work legs, but I was going every single day. And pretty much I just put all my energy in that. And I got in really, really good shape off of my like best shape I had ever been in my life in that moment, right off of my first surgery. And I was like strong. I felt great. I was like, wow, like I really just turned that around into something so amazing. And I was on such a high. Yeah. And then I got retorn like right in the peak of that. So when I got retorn, I was like, I knew it got retorn immediately. And it was a weird spot because I was at a mission trip. And it was like the second to last day. And like everyone was in everyone was in this field. And like apparently I got tackled and I just screamed. I was like, ah. And then like it got quiet and everyone like huddled around me. And I just remember like sitting there and I like looked up and was like, oh wow, that's a lot of people. And everyone's like, is that your bad knee? I was like, yeah, it's my bad knee. And they're like, is it okay? I was like, I just tweaked it. But like I heard the pop again. So I knew I retore it immediately. So I just kind of like walked it off and I just sucked it up for like the next 2 days, got home and was like, I had to tell my parents, I think I retore it. My sister cried, which was cool on her part. Like, I don't know. It was cool to feel like somebody was hurting for me when I was like trying to act like it was okay. But I don't know. I came off the second one even stronger though.
Yeah, man. I want to stop
Sorry,
you.
go ahead.
I want to stop you real quick because I remember when I reached out to you after I'd heard you retour it, and or maybe we were like in person or whatever. But I remember like talking to you the second time you did it, and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like that must suck. And you were very like at peace with it, and you were very like accepting of the fact that like, man, it's all good. Like this happens, which was so interesting for me because when people tear their ACL, once, let alone twice, it's always like the worst thing that ever happens to them at the time. So walk me through your mindset like the second time it happened, because it seemed like you were like very much like at peace with it and knew that this was just like what you had to deal with, which is hard.
Yeah, so the first time I was when I realized like things happen for a reason, and I live by that. Like that's my motto. Like whenever something happens, I'm like, it happens. It is what it is. Shout out Max Holloway. But pretty much from there, I was like, it happened, and I was like, this happened for a reason, and I just knew how to conquer it already. I was like, this is a hill, like a mountain I've already climbed before. This is easy. I know the path. So I was more resilient with it for sure. My mindset was a lot stronger, and like I just knew I could do more with it than I'd done the first time. The first time I was very careful with it. This time I'm like, no, I know I just need to get my strength back.
Right.
So I was a lot more like just I wasn't letting things hold me back. I wasn't like feeling sorry for myself and sitting in my basement for like weeks on end. Like after like my fourth day of surgery, I was like, I already went out with a couple friends, and I just like I sat there, but I went out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let like the surgery control me this time. So I really feel like this one helped shape me in the idea of that regardless of what's happening, I still had control. Like as I was saying, like I wanted control, and I feel like that's where a lot of stress and anxiety for people comes from. So the idea of keeping control with the gym, keeping control with like maintaining my social life helped me feel like I had this thing under control too. Like my leg was still within my grasp and like still within my capability to heal it. I don't know if that made any sense, but
No, that makes sense. That's a crazy thing though, because like I said, for a lot of people, it's the worst thing. So to be able to have that in turn, be one of the best things and make you realize that you need to get stronger and recover
yeah.
and find the gym as an outlet's really cool. So as far as just training now and obviously getting into personal training, you just got your certification. What's next that you're really excited for as far as training for yourself and then helping other people with their training and stuff?
So I mean, me and you have trained a lot together, but one of my favorite things is just like how everyone trains so differently. Like me and you have totally different training regimens, but it works for us. So like they both work for us amazingly. Like we both just love what we do, and you look great, dude. I mean, that's all I gotta say. But no, but so I'm just really excited to continue to endeavor in different areas. So like working out, like this quarantine, honestly, obviously has its negatives, but one positive was allowing me to discover like a whole different aspect of working out. Like me and a couple guys would go to this one park and just like do strength training in any way we could find. Like we're lifting benches, like lifting bleachers, we're running, doing push-ups, like a bunch of bodyweight stuff. And like it made working out like more exciting again.
Yeah.
So I think that energy is something I want to like harness and like continue to make different workout plans, like just do creative ideas with working out and hopefully make it like fun and exciting for everyone and just find something that works for every single like client I have.
Yeah, that's a cool thing because I feel like a lot of people, and I talk about this in the nutrition field as well, but a lot of people just want to give you like that magic pill or like that like one diet or one training program fits all. So that's a cool realization to be able to realize that like me and you enjoy different things. And so if you write a program for me, it's going to be a little bit different than the one you write for you. So there's not really like, there's not one anything fits all, right? There's like the saying goes, there's like 100 ways to skin a cat or whatever. And so that's definitely true. I feel like in nutrition and fitness and training and stuff like that too. Do you have anything in the works as far as training? And again, this will, be out in a couple of weeks. So if there's stuff that you're going to be working on the next couple of weeks, you can obviously say that. But is there anything that you're really excited about that you have in the works for that?
So I have been writing programs for people. So like pretty much that is just like, if you want a custom program, reach out to me for sure. And we'll figure something out. Also I'm working with a couple content creators. I'm not going to say who it is, but I might be making some, as we were saying, you can't like, there's so many different workouts that work for different people, but I'm going to make as much as a baseline workout program for like both guys and girls mostly based on the quarantine era because I don't know how long until the gyms open up.
Right.
So it's going to be like a lot of body weight and everything, maybe like 5 days a week. But I want to get 2 templates kind of laid out for people to have if they just want something. So that's all stuff that like pretty much if you need access to it, it's all just message me on Instagram. Instagram's where I do like all my business stuff. So, but yeah, I think that's what I want to do because I think quarantine's a great time where you have free time to just kind of really, rather than sit around and like let things go away, but to like go out and you have so much extra time just to like start doing things. I don't know. I just feel like working out's a really easy one for people to pick up if they want to get going on it.
Yeah, absolutely. What's something that, as far as people that you've written programs for, people that you've helped get in good shape, what's something that seems to be a common trend a lot that you see that people maybe need help with when it comes to strength training or fitness or something like that?
I think the biggest thing for me that I've always noticed is, you know this, but gym culture is like very, very like anxious. Like that's the best way I can describe it. But like going to the gym for even me still, like sometimes I get anxious because like it's hard not to look at other people and be like, oh wow, like must be nice that you can look like that or lift like that much. But I think a big thing for my programs is I always want them to look, if you're working out and doing these programs, regardless of the weight you're doing, you look like you're working. Right. So it's like something you can feel confident while you're doing at the gym. And also, if you don't like the gym, a lot of the workouts can be done in a smaller space. Right. To where it's something, if you say you're not at the spot where you want to go to a public area and work out yet, you can do it in your like room or do it in your backyard and do it somewhere in privacy. But I just want, a big thing is I want people to feel confident. Like I really want them just to feel good about who they are and like how far they've come in their like journey. And I think just having a routine and like a workout plan where you're like, other people aren't working as hard as me, other people aren't doing this extra little bit, just gives you an edge and almost like in your mental state, your physical state, and just like a lot of things just to help you like keep pushing forward.
Dude, absolutely. What's something that you've learned in life, whether it's you said it or not on the podcast maybe, but what's something that you've learned that's helped you the most through life that you'd give as some kind of tips to the listeners?
That's a good one. How about you start with yours first?
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever answered this. Let me think.
Yeah, dude, you can't dish it out if you know you can't dish it back.
It's true. I mean, I guess mine is just like, you gotta, maybe I want to steal yours, but it goes off what you're saying. Like you have to do things for yourself like that. Like you have, like powerful one is like, you have to be powerful in who you are. Because like I say, man, you're the only person you spend 100% of time with in this life. And so if you're not making decisions for yourself, how are you going to be able to help anybody else out? Or how are you going to be able to live like a fulfilled and happy life? And so that's part of what, what I say is like, you can't pour from an empty glass, bro. You gotta have your shit together, and you gotta love yourself, and you gotta, just be powerful in what you and who you are and what you do to be able to then spread that and share your power with other people. That's just my big thing, man, that I want to get people to realize.
I love that one. Yeah. I mean, I knew that was what you were going to say, and I just kind of wanted you to say it because it's like, that's something that like, if any of y'all catch up on like Tommy's Instagram, like those are just things like key points of just always remembering like you're you and you have to do what you want, or you're just really not going to be reaching like the full potential of what you're capable of in a way.
Thank you for giving me that platform, because that's something that
totally did.
It's my core. It's at my core, but sometimes it gets a little lost.
Totally. Yeah. So if I were to, mine obviously touches in the same area, but mine is definitely like kind of like, it is what it is in the moment. Like everything really does. And my personal like philosophy is everything happens for a reason. So like one thing I've definitely learned is just like whatever cards you have to play them to your best ability. So say like I was the skinny kid. It's like, so I'm not supposed to be able to work out. I'm not supposed to be able to get in shape, but it's like in reality, that's just one perspective you've been given. Perspective, right, Tommy? Absolutely. So you've only one perspective you've been given. So you just gotta make sure that you're not limiting yourself based on like others' views.
Yeah.
Because in reality, they don't understand truly what you're envisioning or truly what you want to achieve, because as Tommy said, they aren't you. So like a big thing is like whatever you have, you aren't limited by it, but you're more along the lines like, I'm trying to think the right word, but not limited, but almost have an advantage with what you have because it's so unique to you.
Yeah.
So like you got to find your little niche or your little area where your, I guess, your deck or your play or whatever you put down is the most impactful. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Oh,
feel like that was pretty good.
dude, that was really good. That's a really good one. And I think that no one said something like that, but I think that's such an important thing. That's awesome. Hey, anything else like specifically that you want to talk about or go ahead and plug, anything like that we missed?
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask. I was like, you said something about how you're a nutrition coach. Is that right? Like through.
Yeah.
So I know you. We've been talking. Me and Tommy talking on the phone like once a week, and like I just didn't know like he's working on something awesome with like nutrition plans, and like you said, you're pursuing more with like clients and everything. I just didn't know if that was gonna be like open to the public or is it just gonna be like a specific client thing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that opportunity. It's the same, it's similar to what you're doing, right? But it's different because it's going to be with nutrition. But I'm basically working on like a 30-page, probably even longer. But it's like a comprehensive nutrition protocol. But the premise of it is different than any other programs out there because it's not like I'm not going to be telling you what like foods to eat, and I'm not going to be giving you like you need to eat this amount of calories this day, this amount of calories this day. It's going to be a lot different in terms of I break it up into sections. And so the first section is all about mindset. Like you can't change especially if you've been binge eating and you've had a history of stuff like that, you can't change your eating habits just by saying, I'm going to start eating healthy tomorrow. Like you have to get your mind right. And so I have like 10 pages just pure on mindset and like why we do what we do, why we binge eat, why, just basically learning like a little bit more about our bodies and why we can't adhere to diets and stuff like that. And so that's part of what the nutrition protocol is going to be. Is the first one is you have to have the right mindset. And then the second is going to start to get into the education portion. So teaching you like, what does the word diet mean? What does nutrition mean? Stuff like that. And so it's so much more than just like a program. It's very much like I'm giving you the blueprints and then you can do with that what you will, right? So it's like instead of telling you what you should be doing, which doesn't work a lot of the times, what I'm doing is I'm saying this is your mindset that you're going to need to have. Like this is all the information that you need to know, and then this is the application of all that information. And then so based on all that, I give you the roadmap, I give you everything you need. There's no excuses. You should have the right mindset. You have the information. Now you know how to apply it. And then it's up to you to figure out, right? Because like if I write you a program and it's a lot of sweet potatoes and you don't like sweet potatoes, then you're not going to
suck it up, dude. Yeah.
It's not going to work. And so that's part of what I'm doing with this program. It's actually, I'll just say what it's called. It's called the Powerful One Body. And it's, so that's going to be a whole nother division of Powerful One is the Powerful One Body. And it's just going to be next level. I've never seen anybody with a program like it. And so it's similar to what you're doing with like giving people different options, like not just giving them that one program fits all type thing, you know?
Yeah. It might be a bad analogy, but it's almost like a Mad Lib for like nutrition.
Yeah.
So where like you're kind of given like the spots of like what you need, but hey, like you push it and almost like imagine a pull down menu of like, look, you can make it customized for yourself.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. And my big thing is like when people, and it sounds so simple, but like when people always ask about nutrition and stuff, I say, and it's a lot of the stuff like I feel like my parents taught me when I was younger, and sometimes that gets lost in the weeds, but it's like, everything for the most part is okay in moderation. You just need something that you can adhere to and you can sustain to, and it can't be too restrictive. And if you go based off of those type of things, then you're going to have some longevity. But I think that with your diet and nutrition, but I think the main thing that's different about my program is the fact that it starts with the mind, which a lot of people get wrong. And then the next part is the education, because like I can tell you like, hey, this is what you need in your diet. You need this type of nutrition, these macronutrients. And people are like, what the fuck does all that mean? Right.
Yeah. So what's a macronutrient?
Yeah. What's a macronutrient? And how would you know unless someone taught you? So it's my job to teach you how to get the Powerful One Body, bro. That's the next move.
Yeah. Man. Well, that's cool too, because I always think about it in workout programs too. Like if I write down like a word like bent over dumbbell rows or something like, I don't know, that's like a landmine row. I had a question on that. It's like people are going to hear that and be like, that's sick. That sounds awesome. What is that?
Right.
So it's like I always write down a description. I'm like, this is what it is. And like worst case scenario, like if you contact me, I'll probably send you a picture from Google, like, or just like at least I've even done like FaceTime calls to walk people through what a workout looks like. But yeah, like the idea where it's like, okay, cool, this is all great, and this sounds awesome, and I'd imagine it works, but I don't even know where to start because I don't know what half this means.
Right.
So it's
right.
like you're kind of covering that ground so you don't run into those issues.
Exactly, bro.
That's cool. I dig that.
Yeah, man. What about you, bro? Any other big moves or anything else you're working on?
Yeah, no. So for me personally, I'm pretty much just trying to get a job at a gym. I think I'm gonna work at my school this fall, hopefully. If not, I might just work at a local gym near the school. But I'm really just trying to get more and more experience. Like, work on programs, get out there. I might try to start a YouTube channel when I get to school. I got a buddy who loves to do filming, and he said that he'd be super down just to shoot some videos and stuff. So I don't know, man. I'm just hopefully trying to get content out there and just make impact to more people and kind of make a name for myself. So.
Right. And you do a really good job of providing people tons of free content already. So I would encourage people to go like check your page out, and like you got
totally,
you're always putting on there, and they're very different. Like they're different, and it's ones that you can do without a lot of equipment sometimes, and other times you know. So you do offer a lot of really good free content. So I would encourage people to start with that, and then if they're looking for something more comprehensive, then hit you up maybe to do either training and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so my workouts on my page, like I post them on my story, but pretty much I have a highlight in my Instagram, like my story highlights. It's just workouts. So if you ever miss one, you're fine because I put every single one I've ever posted up there, and it's kind of just like a teaser of what like a circuit would look like throughout a full workout plan. So if you like want, as Tommy said, want something more in depth, just like hit me up and
then
definitely discuss something.
And then where can people find you right now on
Adam.Giard, Giard. That's how you spell my last name. But
nice. And then as far as like personal stuff goes with workouts, do you have any goals for yourself as far as workouts or training or anything like that?
So I'm kind of hitting the plateau of where I'm sort of tired of doing all the quarantine workouts. Like,
yeah, me too, bro.
I feel like me and you were talking about it, we're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Like, it's more opportunities to change things up. But I'm kind of hitting the plateau where I'm like, I want to get back to weights. I want to get back to kettlebells. Right. But I think for my goal is I want to do a lot of circuit training and a lot of like supersetting. Like I was doing a lot of just traditional lifts and it just wasn't working for me. Yeah. Like I like to stay very lean. Like I don't like to bulk up. Like I like to have muscle tone and like stay pretty much like as lean as possible. But so I think I'm gonna do a lot of like circuit training so I can work on my muscular strength, but keep my heart rate up during my workouts so I can have a good like lean muscular build.
Exactly.
That's a lot of kettlebells. I think I want to get more and more into kettlebells too.
There's so much you can do with kettlebells, man.
I know, dude. It's sick. And I wish I got one for at home because I could do so much.
Yeah, I've been messing around with them a little bit. And like the one thing about them is like I am doing different exercises. I have no idea if my technique is right or not though. So that's like a big part of the kettlebells is like technique. Your technique's got to be right. So I'm learning through that. I don't really care.
I hit up what's his name? Travis.
Oh, yeah, Trav.
Yeah. Yeah. He's super good at kettlebells. He knows what's up. Shout out him.
Shout out T-Swag.
T-Swag.
But yeah, guys, go check out Adam. Adam.Giard, right? That's what you said?
Adam.Giard, yes, sir.
Go check him out if you want some good content and keep up to date on him because he's going to be making some big moves. So thanks again, bro, for being on the podcast.
Appreciate it, dude. I love it. I hope we can get one in person soon too, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You did it. You made it to the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching the podcast. Be sure to go like it, subscribe, share, all that stuff that you're supposed to say at the end of the podcast. Thank you guys again, and stay tuned every Thursday, powerful1.com/podcast or on the Instagram page at powerful0ne powerful1. Thank you guys again. And again, last thing, if you guys are interested in being on the podcast, hit me up. If you got a cool story and feel like you really fit, the mold for Powerful One, hit me up. We'll get you on the podcast. Thank you guys. Stay safe.